Mwahaha. Hi guys, nice game promo. Here, there we go. So I got this really cool like book light thingy. It's Wizard of Oz. It's really cool. It has like a there's no place like home on the back of it. And it's just really cool. I thought I would show you guys that. Good start to a video. So hi, I'm back. I'm back on YouTube. It's been 6 weeks or so since I've been on YouTube. My anxiety has gotten a little bit better of me, so I haven't really been uploading anything. I haven't really been in the mood to like create anything. Also didn't really know what to really say to be like, hey, I'm back on YouTube, but I guess that's pretty much it. I also wanted to say something about what's going on in the world right now. I mean, we're going through pandemic. Just be safe. That's all I can say, really. And like the whole racial tension, all of that. All I'm gonna say to that is Black Lives do matter. If that's any indication on where my stance is. So, I also haven't been on because I've been doing story time for work, so that's kind of taken priority. So I just haven't been in that mood to really like content create stuff. So, but I'm back in it, and we're back in Haunting Talk, hence why we have the creepy light in the background. If that thing moves, I'm out. I'm done. So this is episode 3 of A Haunting. I actually watched Paranormal Witness with one of my friends, Jacob, which is a very similar show to this one, so if you like this show, go watch that one if you want more. This one apparently has 10 seasons, which is awesome. So, in this episode, I don't remember this episode all too much. It's been a while. But, there's, in my notes, I have that there's a lot of weird dreams that people have. And, okay, if you have weird dreams, and if you have nightmares as a kid that keep recurring, that's not really normal, and that's usually a problem. That's usually an indication that something else is going on. Like, a ghost is trying to communicate with you, or you have something attached to you, I guess, and it's trying to like communicate through your dreams and your nightmares. And also, if you just have weird dreams like randomly occur, that's usually an indication. Again, I don't really know the science behind that, so don't know how much that's really true. So another thing is there was a lot of weird sayings. Like, actually, I'll tell you what one of the sayings were because I looked this up. So when they get the house, not only is it like all the windows are nailed shut, which is weird. Like, why? And then the seller randomly says, "I hope you're good fighters." What? Like, why would you say that to somebody that's selling or buying your house? Like, that's really weird, right? Like, that's not normal. Like, good fighters at what? Like, I don't know. That's just weird. The other thing that was weird was the fact that this house, when they were selling it, it was like a really incredibly low price, which is really weird to me because, like, okay, yeah, you have cheap houses, but when it's like incredibly low, that it's just like abnormally low, that's when it's like, this is a little sketchy. But I mean, that can happen. I guess. But that's usually an indication that something's wrong or an indication of ghosts. I don't know. That's just kind of weird to me that the price was incredibly low. Also, basements are creepy. I have a basement like most people do. So there's some places that literally don't. They literally have just like crawl spaces. But basements are creepy. Like, that's one of the reasons that I don't like Paranormal Activity. I like it, but I don't. I'm gonna turn the light on. I'm getting too freaked out even just by talking about it. In Paranormal Activity, there's a scene where the girl is going up to like get the baby in the crib, and she's literally dragged all the way to the basement, and it's just like, for some reason in the basement, I don't know why. Like, what is it about basements that, like, why is that the center of like all evil? Like, there was an episode of Charmed where, the boogeyman is in the basement, and like, why is it always the basement? I don't get that. Is it just because it's dark and creepy and like evil? I don't get it. I don't like basements. I really don't. Especially the ones that have like a space underneath the stairs. Like mine, when you go down the ladder, it's all like spaced out. So like when you go down the ladder and like you're looking at it, it's like a huge space. But when you look behind the ladder, it's not a wall. There's still more basement. So it's like you're surrounded by the basement on all sides. Ugh, I don't like it. When you're picking out a new house, please do the history. Make sure there's no murders on the property. There's no random cults or like stuff like that. Just look into the history of the land and the house, because that can make a whole lot of difference of if you're gonna be haunted or not. So just keep that in mind. This was new for me, this episode. There was a lot of big things that were moved, which, looking back now, I don't remember when I wrote these notes, but I've seen fridges moved. I've seen big cabinets, like heavy cabinets, moved. Haven't seen a car moved yet. What else? But like big stuff, like heavy stuff. I've seen that kind of stuff moved. What's interesting is with Paranormal Witness, there was an episode where there was a poltergeist, and that's a more evil type of ghost. It's stronger, it's more powerful, and that's when you usually see things that are more violent or bigger stuff moved. So that might be a poltergeist, just because it has that power. I don't know. If other people can feel something wrong with the house, no, just leave. Just leave immediately. I mean, if you can't, then you can't. But if you have the chance to leave. If more than one person can feel it. It's kind of like if, you see something and then another person sees it and then another person sees it. Like, that makes sense. Like, if more than one person sees it or feels it, then you have that, kind of like credibility to it. So, I would just say bless the whole house. That was one of my notes. I had bless the whole house. If you're starting to see stuff, feel stuff, if you know that something's wrong, just bless the house. Either call a priest and get it exorcised, or just use sage. I think that's what it is. It's like a thing about that big, and you light it, and it's like to purify the house. So that probably looked like a dildo. So also be careful who you trust. I don't know what I meant by this, but I guess if you have neighbors and they're telling you things, just be careful who you trust with information. Because sometimes people can be like, oh, well, this place is haunted, blah, 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 blah. And, just like misinformation on like the history and like what happened and stuff like that. So one thing I found really weird was, I don't know if this is the episode where the people before left all their stuff or if it was the current people that have it. But that's weird in general. Like, if the people that previously had this house, the seller, just like left their stuff, that'd be so weird. Like, just imagine getting a house that still has other people's stuff in it. Like, that's weird. Especially if it's like odd stuff, Like, okay, furniture, yeah, that's fine. But if it's like, I don't know, like a picture, like if I left, where is it? This. If I left that, like, that's weird. Or like, like pictures or like books or like toys. Like stuff like that. That's just weird to leave. But I mean, if you have to leave really quickly, then yeah, that makes sense. But that's also the thing with a lot of these episodes too, is that at the end of them, they don't get, the exorcist, they don't get the sage, they don't like do anything. They just sell the house if they can and leave. And that's it. Which, that's weird too, but at the same time, you don't want a haunted house, so gotta do what you gotta do. If you're already scared in your house, this goes kind of with what I said before. There's different levels of fear. Like I've gotten scared in my house a couple times where I think, that feeling where there's just something off, but then there's a different level where it's like, okay, something's severely off, and then there's utterly terrified, like you're in danger. So there's different levels, but I think if you get to the my house is throwing shit at me, you might want to leave. Or if it's like physically hurting you, if it's mentally like messing with you, leave. Like that's not okay. Like if it's affecting you in whatever way that's really, really intense, just leave. Like, whatever is considered not normal, which can vary from person to person. If I saw, like, a ghost go by, I'd be like, yeah, no. I would leave immediately. So, like, it depends on the person. Some people are more like, oh, well, I'm just gonna stay because this isn't normal, but it's normal to an extent, so I'm just gonna stay. Okay, so last two things. Something drags you. Get out of the house immediately. Like, no hesitation. Get out of the house. That's not okay. Especially if stuff moves. If stuff like really violently moves, get out of the house. But in this episode, there was someone that was dragged and by, a ghost. And two things I want to say about that is I watched an episode of Paranormal witness, and the severity of that drag really surprised me. That's the first time I've ever seen a really intense drag that was really quick. It was like that. It was quick. And that scared the shit out of me. And of course, it dragged her into the basement. I don't know why. But it also reminds me of Paranormal Activity because she got dragged all the way to the basement. So that was intense too, because she was in the kids' room, and you just see her walking into the kids' room, and then all of a sudden she's like on the floor immediately, and then she's dragged down the stairs through the kitchen into the basement. What? Like what? Okay. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know what it is with basements. I don't know what it is with dragging. Because literally the science behind that doesn't really make sense. Is that like a more effective way of ghosts getting you? Because they can. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to like dive into that much. But that's just terrifying. Like you're just on the floor or something, and something grabs you. An invisible thing. Like, no. I don't like that. So the last thing I have on here is teeth marks. If you've seen any type of horror, anything pretty much, it's either scratches or teeth marks. Some way of a demon or whatever, like kind of marking you pretty much. So it's a good indication that you have a ghost and you should probably get the fuck out of your house. That's not normal unless I don't know, one of your family members just decides to bite you at 3 in the morning. I highly doubt that. But, also if it's weird shaped, if it's not human shaped, yeah, that's not normal. Get the fuck out. I've also noticed that a lot of places it's either like your arm here, usually scratches are on your back or like the back of your leg. Also, like for bite marks, it's usually like towards your ankle. I've seen that a lot, which I don't understand that either because it's not like your neck or anything. It's usually like arms and legs for some reason, or like right on your stomach. I've seen that once or twice. So yeah, if you see random teeth marks that you don't know where they came from, get the fuck out of the house. So that's the end of episode 3. Next time we'll go on to episode 4. So I hope you enjoyed this haunting talk. It's probably rambly and out of breath, but yeah, do some more. And I'll do gaming eventually. I have a few lined up. I just haven't really been in the mood to really game and record. So I'll get back to that. Bye, guys.